Women are told to decenter men, but the problem isn't men being centered, it's age being centered. You are not anxious because of men, you are anxious because of the timeline in your head. So you don't necessarily want a man, what you want is relief from that timeline. Just like you're not stressed because you're single, you are stressed because you're 28, 29 or 30. Because all things being equal, would you still feel like you're behind if your age is 22? So you see, the problem was never that men were centered, it's the fact that age was centered. Let's talk about the decenter men narrative and why it's incomplete. I think since last year we've been seeing this coming up on social media, people talking about the need to decenter men, to not seek male validation, to live out your own life, to have hobbies, to have friends, basically live life without men in it. And why I love that narrative that tells women to choose themselves, I feel like it's incomplete at the end of the day. Because if decentering men is the problem, why is it that women who have decentered men are still anxious? Why are successful women with careers still panicking at 30? Why is it that women who are successful still feel behind in life? And that's because it was never about the men, it's always been about age. Men being centered is sort of, how do I describe it? It's like the fruit, but the tree itself is age being centered. So men being centered is just a fruit from that tree, which is centering age. So how does this age thing negatively affect women? And it's something I would call the age performance trap. Women are told to perform their age or to act their age. What do I mean by that? The way women are socialized to treat their age is not the same way men are socialized to treat their age. Women are socialized to think of their age as a scorecard, a closing window, or even a countdown timer. When it comes to age, women have invisible timelines that don't apply to men. By 25, you should be engaged. By 28, you should be married. By 30, you should have your first child. And any pregnancy after 35 is considered geriatric pregnancy. And if for any reason by the age of 40 you are not married or with kids, you've missed out on life. That is just a little part of the timeline that is imposed on women. So you see, the problem is that women are not living life, they are racing it. It's almost like women are socialized to think of life as a marathon, like, at every stage you're expected to do this and do that. But then that's not the case for men. Men are the only group who are allowed to age linearly. A man's worth is not tied to his age at any point. Maybe for men it's different. Unfortunately for men, money is how they measure their own worth. Like, if you have money, then you are good. A man's worth is never tied to his age. Perhaps it's tied to his money or what he has, but it's never tied to age. And that's why men don't view aging the same way women do. So you see, a 35-year-old man is deemed established, while a 35-year-old woman is running out of time or no longer in their prime. So you see, the way society has conditioned us to see aging is what creates the panic amongst women. And even if you don't notice it, this timeline of a thing or this age anxiety thing warps decision making for women. It makes women not to make the right decisions for themselves. Women centering their age is part of why women fail to choose right. Let me just give you a brief idea into what centering your age can do to a woman. Number one, this age consciousness causes women to settle. So you're dating someone or someone is asking you out. You don't lie them, but because in your mind, I'm turning 31, I don't have all that time to waste anymore, you settle for that person even though you don't like them. Which also leads you to ignoring red flags. You know that something is bad for you or a man is bad for you, but then you're thinking to yourself, I don't have time to start all over again, I better settle with this person. The other thing is, age consciousness causes people to rush commitment, which is why you see women thinking that 6 months is enough time to get to know someone or to settle down with someone. Now, I'm not trying to say that 6 months is not enough time to know someone or settle down with them. What I'm saying is, if at the back of your mind, you've given yourself a timeline of 6 months every single time to get to know a man or to bounce, you are doing yourself a disfavor. Age consciousness is also why women stay in bad relationships, because for some reason, you've convinced yourself that 35 is too old to go back to dating, so you better stick with what you have at the moment, which also leads to obsessive comparison among peers. There's a reason why people say that women are very competitive in nature. And personally, I think it's because of the way we are socialized to see age, and also the way we're socialized to compete with others on the same timeline with us. In fact, sometimes women settle for the not so ideal marriage or relationship because their friend is married with kids. So they feel like, if my friend is doing this already, that means I should be doing the same. And the problem with that comparison is this: if you feel like time is scarce, like if you have time scarcity mindset, you are more likely to lower your standards. And that time pressure will also reduce your discernment. The things you will normally take note of, you will suddenly ignore those things. And all this brings me back to what I would call a clock. Every woman have a biological clock and also a social clock. So let's talk about the biological clock. The biological clock is inevitable because, unfortunately, women's fertility declines with age and biology is real. But the problem is, fertility is not a cliff that people fall off of. People try to convince women that they can't have children past the age of 35, which is why you see women rushing to get married and give birth the moment they clock 30. I have seen women in their 30s, in their 40s, in their 50s getting pregnant and giving birth naturally. And let's not act like if you want to have children, there's only one means to have children. We have surrogacy, we have IVFs, we have so many ways of getting pregnant if that's what you want. But in my opinion, the biological clock is hardly the problem. It's always the social clock. So let's talk about the social clock. The social clock is about the timelines that society gives to you. You know, the family pressure, the society pressure, the peer pressure, the church pressure, pressure from everywhere towards women. We have this saying that good girls marry early and the rest are leftovers, which is crazy because why would you even think of someone as a leftover? Like a human being is a leftover because they are not married. So you see, unfortunately, women live with this awareness of these two clocks that are constantly ticking behind them. That is what the doctor have said and what society is saying to you. And of course, every society tries on conformity, and those who fail to conform are met with shame and ridicule, which is what most women are running away from. Nobody wants to be shamed or ridiculed by others. So you see, most of the anxiety around aging hardly stems from the biological clock. It's always about the social humiliation they will face. So my next question is, what does it mean to decentre men, and how can this be applied to age? To decentre men simply means to not make men your focus, to not build your life around male validation, to not chase relationship with men, and to focus on yourself. Focus on building yourself instead of building a man. So how can we apply this to aging? Before we dive into this, I invite you to please like and subscribe to this video. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, and it will mean so much to me if you subscribe. Thank you. So now that you have the knowledge of how to decentre men, how can you apply this to aging? Number one, don't build your identity around age or timelines or your ability to meet all the targets. And that's because women are conditioned to equate youth to beauty, and beauty to desirability, and desirability to what? Oh my gosh, I can't even pronounce the word desirability. Like, how do you pronounce that? All I'm saying is we are conditioned to see youth as beauty, you know, being beautiful as being desired, and being desired as being worthy. Yeah, I think that's easier for me to say. And that is why women see aging as a loss of identity. And it's not because men vanish or men cease to exist, but that's because the men's attention now shifts to younger women. And that is why you see older women complain about being invisible, and that's simply because the man's attention has shifted. So I'm going to ask you a question, and I really want you to answer that. Who are you when the currency of youth is taken away from you? So if we take away youth from your currency right now, who are you as a person? Because that is where the problem starts from. People build their identity in shallow places. I understand that youth is beautiful and exhilarating, but just like anything in life, it will not last forever. Who are you without your youth, your beauty, and the attention it brings you? This is why you see women in their 40s and 50s becoming depressed, because they have built their identity around youth. So now when that youth is taken away from them, it's almost like they have no self-worth, and you see them being jealous of the younger women because you built your identity around social timelines. I hate that trope of older women being jealous of younger women, because even if you want to deny it, it's true. The way older women treat younger women in society, in the workplace, anywhere you meet them, you can almost say that they are jealous of these people. They are jealous of what the younger ones have that they don't have anymore. Why would you even let your self-worth be centered around age and how society describes your age? Who convinced you that you aspire at a certain age? Like, are you meat? What do you even mean by a human being aspiring? Who convinced you that if you're not married by 30, then it's too late for you? Who said you can't change your careers in your 40s? Who said you can't travel in your 50s and 60s? Who said you can't have children in your 50s? I want more women to start questioning the mentality they have around certain things that society expects of them, such as having children, getting married, having careers or not having careers. I want you to start asking yourself why you believe the things that you believe. And unfortunately, I want you to know that the way women are socialized around age is a very effective tool of manipulation. That method of manipulation is very effective because they don't have to do the work. You now do the work for them. Because if I can convince you that you have an expiry date, then I can get you to act accordingly, because shame is a very effective tool of manipulation, or let's say conformity. So if I want you to conform to something, I just have to convince you, and once you believe that, that's all I have to do. You will do the rest of the work for me. So let's talk about what happens when you decentre your age. Number one is that age is no longer a scoreboard or a countdown timer for you. You will take your time to check compatibility instead of thinking that everything is urgent. You will see yourself walking away from situations that don't serve you anymore instead of panicking about how much time you're wasting. You will also stop comparing timeline with other people because it's not a competition. We are all moving at our own pace. The next thing is that women in their 20s will stop romanticizing before turning 30, as though turning 30 means you aspire or something. And when you stop prioritizing age, you start building stability. You start thinking of yourself as a human being and not as something that needs to be completed. The ironic thing about decentering age is that you will inadvertently decentre men as well. So what ways can women decentre their age? Number one, I want you to take note of goals that you have subconsciously tied to certain ages or certain timeline. So is there something in your mind that you're thinking, all right, I want to achieve this goal, but I have to do it by the time I'm 30, or by the time I'm 35 or 40, or I need to do this before I clock 30. Start rethinking those things and ask yourself, okay, where is this actually stemming from? Why do I have this particular age in mind? Like, why have I convinced myself that this particular thing needs to be done before I turn this particular age? Start questioning the things that you've subconsciously tied to a certain age or timeline. Number 2 is, are there things that you believe that you're too old for? Like, are there certain activities or hobbies that you believe that you are too old for? Who decided for you the age where you stop enjoying certain activities or hobbies? Do you like baby dolls or painting or whatever, and then you suddenly stop because you feel it's childish? Like, who said it's childish? Who made that rule for you? Society did, right? That's all I need to know. You are never too old to enjoy the things you like doing. I don't care whatever hobbies you enjoyed as a child and you've dropped it because of your age. I want you to pick it back up. Start enjoying your hobbies again, because all that matters is that you enjoy that hobby. You are never too old for a hobby. Like, once it doesn't hurt anyone, why would you drop out of something because you're getting old for it? Please pick up those hobbies again and start enjoying your life. The next one is, are there compromises you are making because it's what's expected of you at this age? Are you settling for the wrong person or being forced to have kids just because that's what's expected of you? I want you to rethink that compromise. Do you really want to do that, or have you been convinced that you have to do that because of your age? The next one is, are there situations you have accepted because it's now too late for you? Are you in a job or career you don't enjoy because you think it's too old for you to change? What bad decisions have you settled on simply because of your age? I want you to start questioning those things. What makes you think you are too old to get better? As a woman, I need you to decenter the idea that you're behind in life. Stop measuring your timeline with someone else's timeline. We all can't have the same life, and that's absolutely fine. The moment you decenter your age, you will stop dating out of fear or out of scarcity mindset. You will stop staying in careers or jobs because you think you're too old to leave. Stop trying to beat this clock or this timeline that society have built up for you. I want you to create your own path in life and follow it. Build a life that is so solid that when a man joins you, it's a bonus and not him coming to rescue you. I need more women to start enjoying life and to take away this burden that society puts on women. And you can start this by decentering your age. So that's the end of this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.